So the George Bush Presidential Library and Museum, also known as the Freedom Institute. Freedom Institute, I guess, embedded in the George Bush Presidential Library. It will be dedicated and opening, I guess, on Thursday at the Southern Methodist University. One feature of the George Bush Museum and Freedom Institute is an opportunity to, now understand, all presidential libraries are set up, right, to heap praise on a president. But imagine if you're George Bush and you oversaw the worst foreign policy debacle in generations. You lied a country into an invasion and occupation. You were responsible for the deaths of well over 100,000 innocent civilians. You also presided over the safety apparatus and the defense apparatus of this country in the largest terrorist attack this country has seen, well, I guess, ever, in terms of numbers. You also oversaw the diminishment of a projected budget surplus. You oversaw the construction of an apparatus to curtail our civil liberties. You are now the recipient of a bipartisan commission saying that you unequivocally stood over and commanded a regime of torture. I mean, the list goes on and on. Just imagine that dilemma. You would do two things, I think. One is you would completely disengage from politics, spend your days maybe painting or drawing, playing the guitar if you play the guitar, maybe playing golf occasionally, just telling everybody, back off, I don't want it. And then, of course, you would also raise several hundred millions of dollars to build a museum designed to rewrite history and to try and offer a rationale of why you effed up so badly. And that's exactly what George Bush has done. At the Bush Museum.
I can't believe you're even saying that.
The Bush Museum. You enter into a interactive theater which basically presents you with these stark choices that confronted George W. Bush. Do you invade Iraq or leave the hateful Saddam Hussein in power? Do you deploy federal troops after Hurricane Katrina or simply rely on local forces? Do you bail out Wall Street? Let the banks fail and create an international depression of unprecedented levels? Do you frame every question in such a way that it makes it impossible for you to actually get the right answer? I.e., for instance, maybe it's not just invade Iraq or leave Saddam Hussein, an evil person, in power. Maybe it's just you just don't invade a country by choice. Or maybe you leave it up to the American public, or you at least give them a full accounting of why you want to go in. You get up in front of people and you say, hey, that guy wanted to kill my dad. And Tricky Dicky over here, he says that we need the geopolitical relevance of being able to control the keg, as it were, of oil. And then also we got to spread freedom. Or do we just not do that and just, keep our forces in Afghanistan and try and wrap that thing up rather than it be one of the longest wars we've ever waged? That would be a way of phrasing it. And then what happens is, once you are in this theater, there'll be advisors who pop up on video screens. And before you vote, before you make your decision so that you can be the decider, they will explain to you the situation. People like John Bolton will show up. People like Condi Rice, who had a failure of imagination, but now she can totally imagine these things. And they advise you, and then you make the decision. You see, it's complicated. It's hard work. This is to communicate to you. It was hard. You try it, mofo. In other words. So that is what you will find at the $250 million complex of the Presidential Library and Freedom Institute. And then, of course, a lot of stuff that reminds you that I stood on a pile with a bullhorn. And I said I'd get him alive or dead. Like in Texas wanted posters.
And I didn't get him either way.
Now, I just so happened I lost interest. But whatevs. There's
Sort
a
of
lot
like
of
one
like...
time I was really committed to just like knocking over my neighbor's mailbox, and it just didn't work out. So
Look,
like, forget
one
it.
of the things I hope that you will get from this presidential library, it's like being a president's hard. And also, you got to, sometimes you forget about certain things. It's like you got a big list to do, and just like one of them just drops to the bottom. Now, the Presidential Library does admit that no stockpiles of weapons of mass destruction were found. But it adds, post-invasion inspections confirmed that Saddam Hussein had the capacity to resume production of weapons of mass destruction. In other words, even though he didn't have any, he did have a almost Western industrialized nation that was there, I mean, of course, until we fully destroyed it. And so had he had the desire to make, let's say, some ricin or anthrax, which could have killed 100 people if they were all in one room, then, yeah, he could have done that. So I'm not saying we found it, but we sort of kind of did. The museum itself is the Bush's personal statement about what they think was important, said Mark Langdale, President George W. Bush Foundation, who oversaw the construction. There's a statue of Mr. Bush with his father. They filed down the part where I'm giving him the finger. A section devoted to Laura Bush's travels. A video by his daughters, and even statues of the family dogs and cats. In addition to Ms. Rice, Mr. Bush's two chiefs of staff, Andrew Card and Joshua Bolton, also narrate videos. But former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, and Karl Rove, the president's political strategist, generally make only cameo appearances in news footage. I wonder if that was the Scooter Libby outing of a CIA agent videos. Or the Karl Rove politicizing of all the bureaucratic functions, or the John Yoo memo. So there it is, and pretty soon you'll be able to go find out how hard it is to be president.